The best way to get a jump start on your growing season is to start your seeds indoors. Some veggies only need 4 weeks before they're ready to be transplanted outdoors, but others take longer and need to be started as early as 8 to 12 weeks before your last frost. After they've been growing indoors for 4 to 5 weeks, though, those seedlings are going to start outgrowing their containers. So in order to keep them growing nice and strong, you're going to want to pot them up into a larger size container so that you can have something that looks like this. In my last video, I showed you how to start your seeds indoors. If you happen to miss that video, I've included a link in the description below. In this video, I'm going to give you my top tips for potting up seedlings, and I'm going to show you exactly how so that your seedlings will be ready to plant outdoors at just the right time. Choosing the right size container is absolutely critical. It's best to go only one size larger than the pot that it's in already. Don't go too big because you run the risk of overwatering. It also wastes space underneath your grow lights. I like to start my seeds in seed flats, very small cells. When it's time to pot up, I move them into these 4-cell trays, and then when I pot up again, I put them into this 6-cell tray. Now these are trays that I got from the nursery when I had bought plants previously. Earlier this year, though, I found these really cool 6-cell trays. So next year I'm going to be starting my seeds in these because they have air pruning technology, which are these slits or air channels on the sides of the pots. It actually promotes stronger root development, keeps the roots from circling, so I can actually keep them in these containers a little bit longer than I can just a regular seed flat. The best part, though, they're clear, so I can actually see the roots growing, and I can tell when it's time to pot up, when they start getting too crowded in here. And they're also very, very sturdy. The potting mix needs to be light and fluffy. You want it to be able to hold enough nutrients, but drain well. My favorite is Pro Mix from Walmart, mixed with compost in a 2-to-1 ratio. You want to pre-moisten the potting mix until it forms a loose ball. This should have been repotted earlier. You can see all the roots, and the roots are coming out of the bottom. This is way too late in the process. So I'm not sure what container to pot this up into, so I'm just gonna have both of them in here. So depending on the size of the root ball, the development, that's how I'm going to choose. I'm not sure what size that I want to put this up into, so I'm going to carefully turn it over and holding by the root ball, I want to see what size should I put this in. I could put it in the 4-cell or the 6-cell. It's going to be too big for too small for the 4-cell. So what I'm going to do, the tomatoes can be planted a little bit deeper because of the adventitious roots. So I'm just going to set it in. And the next one, you can see here the root development here. I'm going to remove the cotyledons. These are the first leaves that come out. These are the first true leaves. So remove the cotyledons. And gently turn it over and push it out carefully. Now this has more roots. It is a dwarf tomato. You can see how thick the stem is. So I'm going to be putting this one in the deeper container. Again, burying the stem. I'm putting the label back in. Now, once I've filled the tray, I'm going to squirt some water to clean off any dirt from the leaves. And dampen the surface. I'll make sure that I've got the potting mix packed in really nicely. And then I'm just going to set it in a tray of water to water from below. Now that you know how to pot up, let me tell you why you should do this and when. Potting up is critical in keeping your seedlings healthy as they grow. Roots need space to grow. They need access to water, oxygen, and nutrients so that that seedling can continue to grow strong. So potting up gives these roots the room that they need to grow, and you're going to want to keep an eye on it to make sure that the roots don't start sticking out from the bottom of the pot or they don't start circling. It also gives you more forgiveness factor on watering. If you're having to water too often, it's time to pot up. Tomatoes, peppers, and eggplant, they have what's called adventitious roots. This is the ability to develop roots along the stem. The white bumps on the seedling on the right are actually roots that are starting to form. When potting up tomatoes, peppers, and eggplant, you want to make sure that you bury a little bit of that stem in order to give more root area. There's no way to predict the weather from year to year, so depending on the weather conditions and when you actually start the seeds, you may need to pot up several times if your seedlings start to outgrow the pot before the soil and the air temperature are warm enough to plant out. Since you've been growing these plants indoors, they've basically been pampered. You're going to need to harden them off before you plant them out in the garden or in containers. They need to gradually acclimate to the outdoor conditions. Watch for my next video for the process for hardening off. This is an absolute critical step in getting the plants ready to set out in your garden. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any future videos. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye now.